Hello, everybody. Welcome to Duo Planet, the YouTube channel where we talk all things media, and the podcast where not podcast. No, this is an episode, not a podcast. Echo, Season 1. Review, reaction, thoughts, feelings. I'm joined by Jordan, aka Slasher.
Hey everybody, and before we begin, like I did in the last video, I want to apologise for anything that Will says in this video. Just want to give that out there, a massive apology.
I already fucked up the intro, okay, and I kept going. If any other time, and I would have been like, no, redo the intro because I fucked that up. No, I think I might have done that subconsciously on purpose.
But yeah, I apologise for anything that Will says about Echo.
Of course, unless you agree, in which case,
unless you agree,
he's apologising for you as well.
Yeah,
I think we don't have very different feelings about Echo.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I agree on them. Basically, this is gonna be me, you saying what your thoughts are, and then me if I agree or not. That's basically what this is gonna be.
Echo obviously came out last week. All 5 episodes, of which my first point is from the episode count.
Of which we spent fucking ages.
My one issue from the episode count is All at Once does not work when you are giving 45-minute episodes at the same time. When you have 45-minute episodes, and like me and Jordan, you have to review and react and do all that stuff, it's very, very time.
It was hard for us, because we watched Percy Jackson. We watched a good episode of Percy Jackson. We filmed the review for it, and got straight into Echo. And I think halfway through, I was sat there like,
yeah.
Is anything happening yet?
Point, I was sat just waiting for interesting things to happen.
Like for people who don't review shows and
they
stuff,
take it at their own pace.
You can take it at your own pace, but for us who
we have to get this out,
we have to get this out, and we have to review it and like give our thoughts on it. We don't get to like spread it out or anything.
I mean, we could, but then we'd be behind on.
We'd be behind everybody else. Yeah, exactly.
So my first nitpick. This one goes in the nitpick section.
How many sections? Wait, what? You've got it in sections?
Either do like 2 episodes per week, or do like.
I think that would have been a lot more manageable. 2 episodes a week.
Episode 1's pointless. Episode 1's recap. 60% of
episode 1, to me, it's about. To me, episode 1 is mostly about it's about retelling stuff. A little fight with Daredevil.
That's another thing, right? That's a different.
That fight was way too fucking short.
They misled us. Because in the trailers they showed the idea of Daredevil being in it as something that was central to the point. The entirety of the Daredevil sequence was effectively shown in the trailer.
Yeah, exactly.
Firstly, Charlie Cox again. Fantastic to have him back. Love the original suit being back. Love the attitude he's showing. Right, the fight scenes, epic, awesome. Just wish he was in it more.
Same.
Especially considering Kingpin is such a vital thing to this series. Having at least a mention of Daredevil from Kingpin.
That's what I didn't get. Why did Fisk like not meant like now the Daredevil show, and like the thing is, they're saying season 3 of Daredevil's canon. Fisk knows Matt is Daredevil.
It goes beyond that, I think. The fact that in the past Fisk is very much focused on Daredevil, like when Maya is able to go somewhat toe to toe with Daredevil, he says to Maya, no one's ever been able to fight with him like that before. That's very impressive. But then in the future, aka when the show takes place, it's like Daredevil doesn't exist to Fisk at all. Like Fisk isn't
Yeah, it
worried
doesn't mention him
about the fact that Daredevil, a hero whose entire purpose is to take Fisk down, because Daredevil's got nothing better going on right now other than She-Hulk, and that's not great.
Well, it's great for him because he got to sleep with her.
I just think that Daredevil should have been in it because it felt really cameo-y.
Yeah.
Which I didn't want. If you're gonna put Daredevil in a show, I would like him to be less of a cameo, more of a supporting character. Especially when it's dealing with Wilson Fisk, and Wilson Fisk is like his biggest villain. But Fisk is a different point. Fisk is, again...
Wait, Fisk is a villain to two characters, Spider-Man and Daredevil.
More so Daredevil, because Daredevil normally teams up with Spider-Man to deal with Fisk. And Daredevil is more of
Other than Green Goblin, I think Spider-Man's second biggest villain is Fisk.
Yeah. Well, no. I would say that because you've got to take into account the Sinister Six is six different villains that would be considered his rogues gallery, and the rogues gallery tends to be...
I'd say Fisk is more of a universal villain. He's like a villain for anybody.
Yeah. I would say that he's more so a rogue in Daredevil's gallery than he is anyone else's. So if you're going to go off like who Fisk is most linked to, I would probably say Daredevil. But Vincent D'Onofrio, as always, phenomenal. I can't fault his performance at all as Kingpin. It's like he never left. And that's impressive. One slight gripe I have is I really wish the technology that Fisk has was used more often.
Yeah, the sign language tech.
Sign language translator. Because A, that's cool as fuck. The fact that Fisk has developed a technology that allows him to not need a translator to talk to...
It's basically a two-way thing. Maya gets to see the actual, like, hand signs going off. And he gets to hear it when she does hand signs to him.
Yeah, and I wish we had that as an audience, because about halfway through the show, I sort of got tired of having to read the subtitles.
Yeah, we were... obviously, we get it. That needs to be put in there. But, like, not everybody has patience to read subtitles.
Yeah. I mean, I read all the subtitles because I needed to know what was going on.
Yeah.
But, like, about the halfway through point, I was sort of leaned against my desk, sort of, like, half looking at my monitor that was, like, showing the show, and then half looking at my monitor that had something else on it.
I feel like I was missing a lot of it because I was looking down too much.
Yeah. I wasn't able to, like, focus on the show because I was reading the subtitle, which is a reason why I don't really watch shows that don't have, like, dubbing.
Yeah.
Because I like to be able to see what's going on without having to keep my focus on the subtitles. I have watched shows and TV that does it, and movies that have no dubbing. But most of the time,
there are movies where the thing is with some movies when they do have that type of character or someone who doesn't speak the language that you speak, and they put subtitles underneath. That's fine because it's not all the time. Yeah. Mostly, they will change into English.
I wouldn't have mind if for like the first 2 episodes we had like the sign language with the subtitles at the bottom. I would have preferred if, like, at the halfway through point, when Fisk gives Maya the thing that allows her sign language to be translated, in a way it's sort of translated for us, so that we didn't have to read the subtitles. Because you've got the dichotomy of, you've got most of the characters in the show are deaf, and having them sign back to her and speak at the same time. I would have liked it if she was signing and we got someone in our ear. And it couldn't be the actress because I believe the actress is deaf.
Yeah, the actress actually is deaf in real life.
So it would have had to be obviously someone else. But when Fisk puts it in his ear and she's talking to Fisk, and I can hear it in Fisk's ear, I found myself paying more attention.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't need to read because I can hear what's being said in Fisk's ear.
Exactly, and I could look at the screen.
Yeah, and I think that's what helped Vincent D'Onofrio's performance. Because I wasn't looking at the subtitles, I was looking at him.
Yeah.
Which he's got such a commanding presence.
He does. Like, I think anytime he's in anything, that's why I think he's, like, I can't see anyone else play Wilson Fisk. I just can't see anyone else play that character.
Yeah,
because he plays it so well. Like, he just does it so fucking well. And the fact that he's able to do this commanding presence and be this massive force,
and just stood there like it's nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Him being able to be beaten to shit and be like, it's just a little scratch.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. That's effectively what he says. He's like, that's nothing, bro.
That's nothing. The only person we've seen basically be able to kick the shit out of him is Daredevil. Daredevil made the man, and Hawkeye, both of them made him bleed.
Also, Marvel, if you see this by some miracle of God, please make Hawkeye Ronin again. Please.
Oh, please.
Just for my
me and Will were when we were looking at thing. Let Kate Bishop take over the mantle of Hawkeye. Let her be Hawkeye, and have Clint, yeah, I forgot for a sec. Let Clint be Ronan, because I feel like after everything he went through, obviously when his family came back, it helped.
The sword's just so cool.
But him being Ronan was just so badass, and I think he was...
Right, he regrets what he did as Ronin, but all he did as Ronin was what he was doing as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. Like, he feels bad for killing the people, and I get that he stopped doing the killing people after he became an Avenger. But, like, he's using a bow and arrow. He's shooting.
Well, when you think about it, all the Avengers killed.
Yeah. I feel like, with Tony Stark having nanotechnology, why couldn't he have a nanotech sword that turned into a bow? Because that would have been fucking awesome. And B...
And just got to admit, the suit, Ronan's suit, is fucking phenomenal.
It's awesome. It's such a cool design. And to see it just get thrown away... We
saw Kate Bishop wear it for a second.
Yeah.
And then it got thrown away like it was nothing. I'm like, how do you make a suit like that and then just throw it away? It's like also when he doesn't wear it much in Endgame either.
It's like Daredevil's red suit. Why would you have literally the perfect Daredevil suit in the Netflix show and then give him a mustard yellow red one in She-Hulk?
I do like in season 3 when they went back to the black.
Oh yeah.
When they went back to that.
The proto Daredevil suit's cool as well because it's very practical. And
yeah.
I like when superheroes have practical suits. It's sort of a reason why I didn't like Spider-Man in the MCU being tied to Tony Stark, because he didn't have practical suits. He had, like, high-tech suits.
Well, we know now he will.
Yeah, now that he's got to do his own tech.
We do know that Spider-Man can make his own high-tech suits.
Yeah, but they're not high-tech. His suits are very often just, like, cloth.
Yeah.
And, like, spandex and stuff that has got, like, gadgets on his...
And I'm hoping if they go down the route of him obviously having that type of suit when they are, that it does get battle damage.
Yeah. Speaking of superpowers and other superheroes, can we talk about the black and white segment from one of the episodes?
Which black and white segment?
The silent film.
Oh, that!
Yeah. The silent film from the beginning of one of the episodes, and I think it's episode 3, was the most pointless use.
It was... I don't know why they put that in there.
Because I think each episode is linked to a specific ancestor.
It is. Like, first episode, it was linked to the original... original ancestor.
Why on earth, after having both of the previous ones be in colour, would we all of a sudden go to a period-appropriate black and white silent film?
I know,
and then
it's a bit jarring.
Right at the end, swap it not to colour, keep it black and white, but have sound.
Yeah, you add sound and then you have it full screen. I'm like, that is jarring as fuck.
Also, superpowers.
Oh god, here we go.
While I appreciate...
By the way, they do change her powers in this. Her powers in the comics are a bit different.
While I appreciate the fact that the awesome little like thing of her powers are echoing and her character name's Echo, cringy as fuck, right? That every time they said they're echoing through you, I was a little bit like, please don't say it again. I was like, please use any other terminology, but saying something's echoing through you when your character name is Echo is just the most cringiest thing ever. They could have been like, it's rippling, it's reflecting through you. It could have been all of these different things. To use the word echoing for a character called Echo, every time it happened, I went, oh.
What I find funny is she never actually takes on the name Echo.
Yeah. She doesn't have a superhero name. She's just Maya Lopez.
The show is called Echo, and you just don't give her the full name. You don't give her the superhero name Echo.
Also, as cool as the fight sequences are, whenever it is shown from Maya's perspective...
This was supposed to be an M-rated show, right? And I don't think it went far enough. The only time it went far enough was when you saw Kingpin fucking beat the shit out of someone.
And that guy that got shot that, like, coughed blood up, he got shot facing them, and then somehow ended up on his back looking at them from, like, upside down. Somehow he did a full 360 after he died.
Yeah, and then
whenever they show fight scenes from Echo's perspective, right, I can't be the only one that thinks it'd be really easy to defeat Maya Lopez from the simple fact that you pick up a gun, you walk off away from the fight, you sit and wait for her to finish all the badass martial arts, and then you pull the trigger twice. Because unlike Daredevil, who could hear it, and unlike Spider-Man, who can sense it, and unlike Iron Man, who's wearing a bulletproof suit...
The difference between Daredevil and Echo is Daredevil is blind, but he has his hearing, and his senses are massively fucking heightened. The only problem with Echo is it would have been cool if they added a way for her to feel vibration, so that she would be able to. But no. I thought it was going to be a fact that she felt vibration, so anytime someone moved or someone's coming at her, she was able to block and shit, but no.
I think that would have been so much cooler.
Because I know there are, there are deaf people who can use vibration. Some people who are deaf, who are able to play piano or stuff like that, they use vibration to do it.
Yeah. It would have been a way for them to show that she's capable of being in these massive brawls and still be able to fight. But when the Achilles heel of your character is, if someone...
Go on to her powers. Talk about what her powers are, because I'm actually going to tell what the comic versions is. You do the show version, I'll say the comic version.
Okay. Okay, where are we? Oh, here we go. Right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Within the show, Echo's powers are described as she has the power to manipulate emotion. She has the power to replicate the abilities of her ancestors, and is a skilled mixed martial artist, being trained in capoeira, boxing, taekwondo, judo, and MMA, and is also skilled in using swords, staffs, and guns. That is
right. In the comics, she has she can duplicate any physical action that she sees, ranging from musical performance and ballet to martial arts and weapon usage. She's able to mimic the fighting styles of others much stronger than herself. She's a highly talented pianist, music composer, artist, ballet dancer, boxer, martial artist, and markswoman. In combat, she sometimes wields conventional pistols, guns that fire poisonous, whatever that word is, and a billy club and a shuriken, obviously known as throwing stars. That's her in the comics. The reason I think that's where she gets the echo from is the fact that she can mimic other people's.
Which is
in the comics, in the comics, she's able to she's basically got Taskmaster's abilities. But
it doesn't come with the limitation of Taskmaster forgetting after he replicates something.
Yeah, she can keep it. In the comics, it shows that when she was younger, she saw someone play piano, and she felt the vibration of it while also watching them play. She sat down and started playing what they were playing. She learned through that, and that's how she was able to do it. In the show, what is it again?
She has cosmic superpowers from her ancestors, which I'm just going to keep letting that sink in. She can use swords, knives, guns, and bow staffs, and she's trained in 7 forms of martial arts. Oh, and she's deaf, which isn't a superpower, but it's there. And if you guys think that we're like shitting on Echo, the comic version of Echo that can feel the vibrations, the TV part can't do that. And if you say, how do you know that? At one point, when Kingpin appears outside of Maya's house, 2 of Kingpin's men walk up behind her and she doesn't know they're there. You know this because she gets startled by them when they grab her.
I'm looking at some Rotten Tomatoes reviews. Someone said the show wants Maya to be a human being rather than a superhero, but can't get out of the habit of writing her as a construct instead of a character.
Yeah. It's like the character doesn't have any personality outside of what the writers want her to be.
Yeah.
Which, to put it into like a comparison, think of what you think of when you think of like Peter Parker. You think of the awkward, quippy, nerdy person, right? What do you think of when you think of Iron Man? You think of billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
There's a lot of low ratings on here.
What do you think of when you think of Echo?
I think of nothing.
My interpretation of Maya Lopez.
The thing is, right, here's the thing, guys. There's something called, when it comes to superheroes, it's the same with it's something the Colossus says in Deadpool, but it does actually count. Every hero has what we call a hero moment.
Yeah.
The moment where they actually become a hero. By the way, anti-heroes like Echo do get this.
Even villains get it.
And even villains get it. They get a villain moment. But here's the thing.
What is Echo's hero moment?
I can't name one because I feel like I just can't.
And it's not just Echo that doesn't get it. Like, Captain Marvel didn't get one, and her like power level felt unjustified because she never had a moment where she felt deserving of her powers.
I feel like because we're in a moment of superhero fatigue, and like, yeah, I'm feeling that there's too much at the minute. Like, I like superhero stuff, but I feel like Marvel are going, like, I don't see their direction of where they're going with this street level stuff yet.
I mean, she had the perfect option to have a superhero moment. Like, the opportunity was there when the choice was, go and face Kingpin or save the people at the festival, that was the perfect opportunity for her to go, I need to let go of this vendetta, I need to rise above it. And she goes and she stops the other guy, the fucking Irishman, who has a fucking rocket launcher in a beer cooler or whatever it is. If she made the active decision to let go of her vengeance for Kingpin and went and saved the other people, granted, the grandmother and Bonnie would have.
Here's the thing, guys, right? I don't have many problems with this show. But again, I'm agreeing with Will on some points he's making.
Yeah. Because they're valid points, and they're like, it's not like I'm shitting on the show because I'm a horrible human being that hates when like women are in like the spotlight. I love like Rogue One.
Yeah.
Like Jean Erso is awesome.
Here's the thing. It reminds me of that thing going around, like, obviously, yeah, do you know that woman was going to be directing the Rey movie?
Yeah.
That video, right, I will admit, is taken out of context. Do you know her saying she likes making men feel uncomfortable?
Yeah.
That's actually not about Star Wars. It's been proven, someone said that clip's being taken out of context. That's actually about something else. It's about another project that she did, like ages ago. That's nothing to do with it. But, on the other hand, you've also got a clip going around of an interview where it says, women don't like Star Wars, women don't watch Star Wars, and stuff like that. I'm like, how many women Star Wars fans are there? Because there's a lot.
Granted, not as many as men, but a lot more than people think.
Yeah, there's a lot more than people think.
I find that even
I follow a lot of cosplayers on social media, right? No, I follow male and female cosplayers, right?
Hey, nowadays.
Shut up, right? And all of them at some point have done a Star Wars cosplay. And I think the one I see most is Leia.
Yeah.
I see Leia a lot.
I see Leia, I see Jin, Erso.
I don't see Rey. I barely see Rey.
I see Rey a lot in the cosplayers that aren't really cosplayers but are activists.
Mm.
Like the cosplayers that are cosplaying because they like the character tend to lean towards like the Ahsokas, the Princess Leia's, the Bo-Katans, the likable.
Here's the thing, guys. We characters. Don't care if a film. Right. My favourite. Like, I'm going to go into talking a little bit about horror here. Alien. Right? Alien has a female lead who is so fucking badass that I don't give a shit. She's a great character. Sigourney Weaver plays Ripley. Badass character who deserved all the light that she got. Right? She deserves to be praised because fucking hell, Alien's amazing. All of them are. They're all worth watching just for that character alone. But when you make a character like Rey, I feel like she didn't have a hero moment.
No, because she just had her powers.
She just happens to have the Force. Like, yeah, okay, not everybody needs to be related. I agree with that. Not everybody needs to be related. Yes. But it feels like we were pushed to believe that she was related to somebody, but then wasn't, and then was.
Yeah.
And she's basically like what they call a Mary Sue. Someone who has these powers and is supposed to be powerful, but we don't know why.
I think one of the things that I like is the media, and I think you'll forgive the pun here, but media is supposed to echo the audience that it's intended
for. For God's sake.
Right? I didn't mean to make the pun, but that is the way that it needs to be worded. People resonate with characters that they can connect
Yeah.
with. They can feel.
That's why we like
investment.
It's why we like Ahsoka.
It's why people like for decades have liked like Batman, Iron Man, like all these different
superheroes.
People like them not because they hate certain people or they hate certain like different characteristics. They like these characters because they feel emotionally invested.
Yeah.
Like
if
for
we're
example,
not emotionally
Ahsoka.
invested in a character, then it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, like
To
when
me,
Ahsoka
I
first
was
came
upset. I was upset in Rise of Skywalker when fucking Padme died. Not Padme, Leia died. I was upset when Kylo died.
I wasn't.
I thought Kylo was a great character.
I had very little investment in Kylo Ren.
I think Kylo's the best bit out of all of those
He's
films.
the best bit, and that says a lot that I wasn't invested in him. He was definitely the best bit. It's what happens like when Ahsoka first came into existence. She was hated.
Yeah, no one liked her.
No one liked her. But then she got character development. She had a hero moment, and then everyone went.
She had my favorite storyline of Ahsoka is her being betrayed by the council.
Yeah.
It's her being betrayed, and then like the moment that I saw Ahsoka for who she was is the moment when they told her that she can return, and she went, "Fuck that." She decided to leave because she decided to leave because the people that she thought cared didn't.
I connected with Ahsoka when when Obi-Wan, her, and Anakin are on Mortar, and she gets taken over by the sun, and she goes dark side mode. And even though she's been corrupted and it's not really her there, a lot of the stuff she's saying is probably stuff that she has bottled up deep down, all that anger, that hatred. Because she's a Jedi, she's not allowed to express it or feel it. I feel like when characters are not necessarily repressed, but when characters have got a fatal flaw, it makes them 10 times more relatable than when the character is portrayed as...
Trying to work back into Echo, I don't see a fatal flaw in Echo.
I don't see a fatal flaw in Maya. Like, she doesn't have that one thing outside of being deaf and being an amputee that would be considered a fatal flaw in what she does, which is fighting. It's martial arts. That would be the fatal flaw. She's not perfect in that regard.
Yeah, but she somehow is.
She doesn't have a fatal flaw in like character other than she's dull. She's ridiculously dull.
From what I can hear, her comic book version is way better.
I feel like she needs someone to bounce off of that is in a similar position to her, in that she is somewhat disabled. Like, have her work with Daredevil, and I think that's a great match.
I think she's going to be in Daredevil.
Daredevil being able to bounce off Echo, and Echo, firstly, the first meeting where Echo finds out that Daredevil's blind, and she's like, how do you know what I'm saying, when she's like sign languaging? You can just say, well, I see the world, I just see it differently.
Yeah.
Because as we know from the Daredevil show, he doesn't see the world, he sees it on fire. All the time. He sees everything and everyone burning. That's how Daredevil sees the world. It is through that like dichotomy of Daredevil's fatal flaw isn't that he's blind. His fatal flaw is he's obsessive.
Yeah.
He's obsessed with being Daredevil. Like, Maya's fatal flaw could be a number of things. It could be her obsessiveness about Kingpin.
Matt's fatal flaw as well is the fact that he doesn't trust.
Yeah.
That he's vengeful as well. He doesn't accept when he's doing wrong.
Yeah.
He always thinks he's always thinking he's in the right and that he's doing the right thing.
And we as an audience can see the turmoil
Yeah.
Daredevil.
We can see his struggle, but with Maya, I'm not seeing her.
I'm not seeing her like struggle or like wrestle with any decisions she's made. Like she shoots Kingpin in the face and doesn't check if he's really dead.
Yeah.
Because Kingpin's alive, and she's like, "I shot him in the face. I'm pretty sure he's dead." I'm like, "You didn't check? You didn't make 100% sure that the guy that you hate."
I'm sorry, but I'm sure if I was in that situation and I just did that, I'd check if he was dead. I'd at least put another bullet in him.
The rule of zombie movies: double tap.
Double tap, easy, done.
Bang, bang. Make sure that thing stays dead because you don't want it coming back to bite you in the ass. Lo and behold, it comes back and bites her in the ass. And another thing, and I think I'll make this my last point, the end game moment in the final episode where Maya fully channels her ancestors and they're all stood alongside her. Firstly, must look super weird from Kingpin's perspective, who I assume can't see them because he doesn't have these powers.
I think also what kind of like makes me a bit confused. What the fuck is with her mum and sister? Or friend or whatever it is. How does she randomly get those abilities?
Probably because they're from the same bloodline.
Because they just randomly get, like, they're able to just overdo these, like, two guys holding them.
I'm going to say, like, seeing, like, what I assume to be, like, a 60, 70-year-old woman absolutely floor. Like
again, I have seen that happen. Like, that doesn't... I'm just so confused how in the fuck that works.
That was probably one of the best moments in the show.
I get that they were trying to... I think, like, it could have worked. It could have worked with them obviously being connected to the Choctaw people. But I think it was handled a bit differently.
Self-righteously. That's what I think.
Yeah,
it was far too self-righteous in an attempt to be like, look at how authentic we're being to this history. And I'm like, that's great. Be authentic. However, you are Marvel, so like maybe spice it up a little bit and make it not necessarily just hard focused on like being authentic. Maybe have it be authentic, but then maybe spice some personality into it so that, you know, people can find it enjoyable. Like when, I believe it is the old woman, when she's talking to Maya and she's talking about how she couldn't have Maya around because every time she looked at her, she saw her daughter, who is Maya's mum. I was a little bit like, wow, that's really powerful dialogue that should have been in the show a lot earlier. But like whenever, like right after she leaves, and the guy who took Maya to see her grandmother, the first thing out of his mouth is that I guess that didn't go very well. The disconnect from emotional to, oh, look at how funny we can be. Like that should have been a moment where he didn't say anything. Where he just accepted and he just got in the car and they moved on. That he shouldn't have tried to make a funny quip in that moment. And Marvel are getting really bad for making funny quips in what should be otherwise serious and profound.
To be fair, the only like enjoyable Marvel thing that's come out was Guardians Galaxy Volume 3.
Which handled these moments well. Because when the team thought Rocket had died in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, no one
I fucking cried my fucking eyes out. No one made a joke, and then Rocket comes back to life, and he's the one to make a joke.
It was near silence for like 3 seconds, and then Quill like broke down.
Yeah.
And then when Rocket finally came back, he's the first one to make the joke. And the reason that works so well is because Rocket has got no idea that he's just been dead.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what brings you back from the edge of like you're bawling your eyes out.
The other thing I really like about the whole like thing with Rocket is the moment he accepts that he's a raccoon.
Yeah.
that I am Rocket Raccoon. Like him and Quill have always argued
Doesn't
and
know what a
that.
raccoon is.
Yeah. Like them two have always argued, but to see Quill break down like that, to see a friend like that, it really just showed that no matter how much they argued, he fucking cared.
And Guardians is supposed to be a silly movie, and yet Guardian elicited more emotion out of me than Endgame did.
Exactly.
And like Endgame was an emotional thing.
When the MCU first started, they did amazing stories. They were great, emotional as fuck. And
Yeah, I feel like Marvel have lost.
I think they've lost what they. I feel like they have changed so much, and they have lost what made them great. They've forgot what made them popular in the first place.
Yeah, and part of me can't tell if it's because they're pushing so many different agendas.
I feel like it's getting to the point. I feel like it's getting to the point where it's quantity over quality.
Yeah, they're trying to shove so.
It's
many
it's like they feel like they know that people are going to go and see these films, so it's like they're just going to pump it out.
Yeah, they're putting so many different ideas into a single project that it feels overwhelming and dull. Like if Echo was more about Maya's journey in self-reflection after she thinks she's killed Kingpin only to have him come back, that would have been a more captivating story than what is the story? Like that is the genuine question I had after finishing Echo. Wasn't oh that was shit or oh that was dull, which those were things that came out of my mouth after watching it, but that was more because I was so done with it. It was I don't know what the story was supposed to be, and I don't know what tale they were trying to tell other than we have a deaf character that is an amputee that is part of this tribe, this history. Enjoy 5 episodes. There was no like genuine story for Maya to like tell on her own terms.
Well, like one of the thumbnails or someone has reviewed it. Marvel is back, in brackets, sorta.
Like, they need to figure out if they're going to make comedies or if they're going to make actual TV and movie. Because everything from Marvel in the past 2 years...
Like, Marvel has always had jokes in their stuff, but it's also... But
I feel
the jokes were...
It's gone from being humour to being just the way things are.
Yeah.
Like, my favourite form of humour is like early Marvel humour, where it's not really a joke, it's a character saying something like that you just go, that's hilarious. Or it's like Steve Rogers being so oblivious to everything that he says something.
And Tony, and then you've also got like Tony being all sarcastic about like people and that, calling people names, like when he calls Thor Point Break.
Yeah,
and
then that played up because he did it so many times. And then in Ragnarok, when he finds the Avengers ship and he's trying to access the file, he says all the other names that he wishes he was called, and then he has to accept the reality that Tony made it, and he goes, "God damn it, Stark! Point Break."
Yeah, and then the ship knows him, and it's like, that is great.
I feel like they aren't having the back and forth that I wish they were having anymore. It's like one character speech. You know, have you seen the videos of like Bethesda games where like someone gets to where a character has to make a decision and they sit on the dialogue option for like 35 seconds?
Yeah.
It cuts between like the NPC just blinking blankly, waiting for a response, and then it's like a meme of like someone just stood stoically, just looking at them.
It reminds me of
with Marvel, one person talk, then the other person, but while the other person's speaking, the person that's just been talking is stood just still. Like they aren't animated. They are just standing waiting for their turn to speak. Whereas with like the Avengers, the first one, when all of them were together and they were talking, like if Captain America was speaking, you could see Tony Stark walking around in the background, like touching stuff randomly.
Yeah.
Like being Tony Stark. Like he didn't stop being the character when it wasn't his
I
turn.
think it was funny as well when like he would go like when he was talking in Avengers. No, which Avengers one now? In First Avengers. He walked around when he was like being all smart and that, but he still took the time. He was asking people if they wanted fucking berries or something that he had in his hand.
Yeah.
And like no matter what, he was all like when Cap said to him, "It looks like it runs off some type of electricity," and Tony's like, "Well, you're not wrong."
Like it's the simple humor that would be so good to have back. The Marvel are just trying to be too serious while also making jokes, and it's just
I don't mind them because people have been asking for ages for Marvel to go back to like seriousness, like mature content, but doesn't mean you can't do jokes and be funny and stuff like that. It doesn't mean you can't. Look with Deadpool. Deadpool's gonna be a hard R movie with blood, guts, everything, and it's gonna be this otherworldly project. You can bet that Deadpool is gonna swear his ass off, make jokes and everything. Daredevil, if they're going the route of comic book wise, he's gonna be cracking wisecracks. Like Spider-Man, kinda. He's gonna be doing that. He's gonna be doing all that while also beating the shit out of a guy. Because that's why we like Spider-Man so much, because he's making wisecracks, but he knows when to make them.
Yeah. I just don't know. I feel like
I don't know.
Like Marvel need to really reconsider the route they're going. Otherwise, it's going to end up to a point where...
It's also, we don't know what's happening after Jonathan Majors either. Like, what route are they going now?
Yeah, like, I feel one of the problems they have is, when it started off and everything was disconnected, it was fine because we didn't know there was a universe. And then the second the first Avengers happened, we were like, oh wow, this could be big. This is a massive universe. And they kept the interconnectedness throughout up to Endgame. And the second Endgame's finished, I feel like everything is disconnected. Like there is a hand and an eternal, not an eternal, a celestial sticking out of the Indian Ocean. And ever since Eternals, I have heard no one talk about it.
Well, the only time it mentioned, I can't remember which show it was or which film, but it's on the news in the background. That's it.
I think it might be Hawkeye.
It was on the news in the background, and that were it.
And like normally, that would be an event where it'd be mentioned in every project. They'd keep reminding you of it because it was that important. But I feel like Eternals didn't matter because what did that do for the overall multiversal saga?
Nothing. To me, Eternals weren't even a multiversal project.
Yeah, but it's inside the multiversal saga now. They've named the saga, which means now it's part of it, which means how does it connect to everything else? And the answer I have for you is it doesn't. Nothing does. Nothing connects to each other. And I know what people say, not everything has to be connected. But when you're doing a universe where these characters are sharing such a small place, everything happens in America. Everything. Normally you would get that mention of like, oh look, this happened the other day. We had, oh look, like even if it's something as similar as like mentioning like a character has done something on the news. Marvel used to do that. You used to get little like things in the background that you could hear if you paid enough attention, where it was like, oh, Iron Man stopped this the other day, and people would sit there and they'd be like, oh, that's a cool little Easter egg. the Iron Man is still operating, even though we're not in an Iron Man movie. Like, none of that's happening anymore, and it's why now that we're going to round out this review, because I think we've got nothing else to really add that wouldn't be rambling.
We hope everyone like if you did enjoy the show, then fair enough. If you,
I have to give it a 2.
If you disagree with some of our points, then that's fine. But like, this is just an opinion thing. It's just like, let's have a discussion. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are of it. Is there something that you saw that we didn't, or something like that? Will is very high opinionated, so he's just give it a 2.
I have to give it a 2 out of 10 because I have been very, very lenient with Marvel over the past 2 years, and I have been very, very defensive.
I can't wait. I'm trying to remember the last time I went to the cinema for a Marvel movie.
No Way Home. I can remember. No Way Home.
I think for me it was No Way Home as well.
I don't think I've been to the cinema for a single one since
was Shang-Chi before or after?
Before
No Way Home.
I think. Yeah, before.
Yeah, No Way Home is the last one I went to see. What about Eternals?
Before. I think. Yeah. Before.
So yeah, No Way Home was like the last Marvel movie I went to see at cinema. The rest, I've just waited for them to come out on Disney or something.
Yeah.
That's it.
I have to be.
I've not been hyped. Like TV show wise, Loki, brilliant.
Loki was great.
WandaVision was good.
That was good.
Moon Knight, fucking amazing.
Fantastic.
She-Hulk, less said the better. Less said the better. Is there anything else I'm missing?
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye was alright. It was good. I thought it was fine. We got to see Vincent D'Onofrio again.
Miss Marvel.
I thought that was good.
Below average.
It was just an introduction for her.
Still below average. But...
Yeah. And then, if you want to know how to do culture right, Miss Marvel. So I think they did it well.
Yeah.
And then
Echo for me, it is only slightly better than She-Hulk, and that is only because She-Hulk was so bad.
I think like She-Hulk was so bad. This is better in comparison.
This is better,
but it's still not that good. I think with my rating, I'm gonna trying to think,
because I give Miss Marvel a 5, but I think it's below average.
I'm gonna give Echo a 3.
Yeah, I think these are the
lowest. I think Echo is slightly better than.
Oh yeah, She-Hulk's a what? In fact, She-Hulk's a -7. Right? That's how bad She-Hulk is.
Why are we saying that? Like, remember, like when we were reviewing She-Hulk, we know that she could break the fourth wall and stuff like that, but it was done so poorly.
Like, Echo isn't bad per se; it's perfectly watchable. Like, will I watch it again? No. I've watched it once. I don't need to see it again. I've watched Moon Knight probably 3 or 4 times because I like it. But with Echo, I've seen it once. I don't need to see it again. I didn't enjoy it. It's just.
I feel like if I'm gonna do a rewatch of the MCU, I would watch it just to be there. But I'm not. It's not going to be a show that I feel like putting on.
Yeah, I'm not going to go out of my way.
It's one of those shows, really, I'd put on the background and just not pay attention to.
2 out of 10.
Yeah, 3 out of 10 for me.
Which hurts me to say because, like,
it does.
I would have liked, like, I was somewhat hyped for it because I was like, oh, Kingpin, Daredevil, we're getting like probably some back and forth between Maya and Daredevil as they're like fighting. That would have been awesome to see. No, cameo for Daredevil. Kingpin's great. Kingpin is the highest point of the show.
Yeah.
If I was reviewing purely the Kingpin scene, it's like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
But with the rest of it, especially considering it's so short, so everything feels so rushed. It's got to be a 2.
Well, that's all I've got to say.
Well, if you did enjoy, which I can't say I enjoyed making this because I would have liked to be nicer, but
yeah,
it's
we want to be we want to like them.
I want to be able to say this is the best piece of like TV I've ever seen, but I can't, and so I have to be realistic at a certain point. And Echo has just been the point where I've had to go. I can't sugarcoat it anymore. It's just bad. I can't defend them because there's nothing to defend. It's like it's soulless, and so I'm hoping that this review is somewhat soulless because I'm wanting to prove a point, which is Marvel needs to reconsider where they're going in terms of storytelling.
I feel like they're changing. Like, one more thing I want to say, they're changing characters too much.
Yeah, they went from the heights of being like gods of Olympus, and I'm using that because we've just watched Percy Jackson and I love Greek mythology, to they're now a dumpster fire. Like, some parts of the dumpster fire is great, and some parts you like pick out and you're like, whoa, that's still safe, awesome. But then the rest of it, you're just like, just leave it to burn.
Yeah, right. That's it, guys. Let us know your thoughts down below and everything, all that shit. Will outros.
If you did enjoy, by some miracle of God, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to all the garbage YouTube I should do. If you didn't, dislike, because, it's still interaction at the end of the day. Leave a comment, let us know what you thought of Echo, if you enjoyed it. If you have a differing opinion, let us know what you think. If you enjoyed Echo, let us know.
We'd like to have a discussion.
Let us know why you enjoyed it. Let us
end
know.
End of the day, guys, where those people's like, this is our opinions. If you have your own, that's fine.
Let me know, because I like to know. Maybe you'll change my mind. It's doubtful, but you might.
I'll love the day when someone changes your mind on something.
I've been one of your hosts, Azteral.
I've been your host, Slasher.
We will see you in our next video. But for now, we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Forget 1,000 things every day, pal. Make sure this is one of them.
Server etiquette!